It's time for Ask Me Anything About Storytelling. Do you have questions about storytelling? Ask me. I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. And if I don't know the answer, I will say something anyway. I got an Ask Me Anything question from John O'Bear, and the question was, what do you do when somebody has basically a story that's effectively just a humble brag, just them humbly or not so humbly telling about a huge win? And the short, simple answer to this is that good things happen to people all the time. Not so good things happen to people as well. If your story starts good and just ends up good, then there's no arc. There's no change in your story. And stories should really either be about change, that something wasn't so good and you did something and it ended up good, or that something good's happening and you reflect on why. Why did this good thing happen? Is it because of the situation? Is it because of something that I did? Was there something surprising that led to this thing? If there was any of those things, something surprising or some change or some discovery that you learned from, you could learn from, you could teach to others, then it becomes story-worthy. It becomes something that we want to hear about and learn from versus just sort of slow clap, celebrating like, good job, I'm so happy for you. So think about change, think about changes, think about reflection, and your humble brag story might turn out to be quite interesting and lovely. I got another Ask Me Anything question from my friend John O'Bear from Capital Storytelling. And this one is about moth stories or stories that I've hosted at shows that I suspect were fiction. And the specific question was what percentage. I think we can all smell lies. Now, granted, stories, and when we tell stories, they're inclined to change. They're malleable. Our memory of them changes. The way that we tell them when we're talking to different audiences, different groups of people might change. So I think there are tells that help us to smell whether it's real or not. So when somebody has, like J.P. Frary, my friend, the storyteller, talks about the specificity of names. When you're talking about your childhood, people seem to always say like the first and last names of people that they went to school with. So they're talking about, Evan Heiser or Kristen Amatruda or Susie Paley. Like you're using the specific name and we hear that name and that's like, this definitely is a person, like a real person because we've remembered that person. When you're very vague about, I went to this place and there was a famous person there and you don't have any real sense of describing the place, the situation that you're in, it starts to smell inauthentic to you. And the thing that I sometimes say is that I often believe people that things really happen to them, but there's a way that you can sometimes tell the story in a way that I still don't believe you because you're not bringing me into that place. So if you want your story to feel more authentic and more real, color it with details, emotions, and specificity that help me really see you in that place, see you remembering that place even, and that will lead to a better story. I got another Ask Me Anything from Kelly Richardson. Do you have any strategies to juice up the stakes for storytelling? I mean, in situations where the stakes were not that high, but the experience was still meaningful. This is a great question because I believe stakes are everything. If your story has no stakes, then we don't have a reason to care about what's happening in the story. It's just interesting, or it's just something that happened, but we don't care. We don't empathize. And I think that to some degree, every story does have stakes. Even small, intimate stories. It could be a story of two people sitting in silence on a dock together, talking about things. And the stakes can be implied about connection or the frailty of connection or the stakes about will we, won't we break the silence. Whether you say it or not, it can be implied. So implicit stakes is a good way to kind of quietly set and create stakes, like to juice up the stakes. Of course, the second thing would be just externalize it. Say it. I didn't know if I would ever see him again. I'm so scared right now. I'm worried that if I don't get this turned in time, it will ruin my grade point average. Just speaking out what you have to gain or lose, what the values are. And I think lastly would be kind of the more performative thing of just acting out the stakes. So even if it's technically a low stakes thing, like my parents are going to look at my 7th grade locker and see how messy it is. Oh God, no. All of my social studies homework is just being in the moment can get you through it. And can keep us, I guess, curious about what comes next. So that's also the point of stakes, is keeping the curiosity, keeping that momentum, so that by the time you get through it, we're hooked and we remember. Another great question from Kelly Richardson. Thank you, Kelly, for all these great questions. It's about celebrity stories. Or interactions with well-known people that are well-known. What do we do? Can we reveal who the celebrity is? Should we reveal? Should we talk about who the well-known person is? And here's what I think about that. My friend George Hall has a story that he told at one of my shows, and it was about being a young designer, a young art director, artist working on Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible movie. He's flown to England to meet with Tom Cruise and the director and the production team about this movie. And in the process of having this meeting with Tom Cruise, he says and does a really dumb thing. Like, he basically laughs at something that Tom Cruise says and says to some effect of like, "That's a stupid idea." And everybody in the room kind of shuts down. And the story, in essence, is about how silly and foolish, immature he is. It's not about the celebrity, about Tom Cruise and anything that he did wrong. It's kind of a self-effacing story that involves a celebrity. So I think there's a lesson in that. I think that if you're just telling a story about something that they did, they said, that's probably not a great story to share publicly or on a stage or in mixed company, let's say, because it could be something that was misinterpreted or something that might in some way actually affect your credibility. Whereas if it involves somebody, but the story is fundamentally about you, something you did, something you said, something you learned that involves them, I think in those situations, it's okay because they're a character in the story, but they're not the punchline of the story. You're not setting them up in some way that is unfair. It's not gossip. So as long as you are the primary character in the story and it's something that they were there for and it's something that it was interesting, amusing, scary, whatever that is, I think it's fine. But if it's something that is just kind of slanderous or libelous or insulting in some other way, I would advise against it. Keep them coming. You got more questions, more things you're curious about? I'm here. I would love to answer your questions. So let me know. Thank you, Kelly, for the great question. See you later.